How's it going, everyone?
It's going to be a great day for planting. But there's a lot of questions regarding why aren't my plants blooming? Or why aren't they looking like, like the big, beautiful things that you see all over the internet?
My stuff just doesn't look like your stuff. So let's dig into that a little bit. We're going to give you 3 reasons that are the main causes of your flowers not blooming. Because we want them to bloom. We want to showcase our yards, and plants just aren't as exciting if they're supposed to have flowers on them, and they don't. So let's dig into that.
So sometimes you'll have a plant and you'll say, everything looks good. I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. It looks healthy. There's green leaves, but there's just no blooms.
Right.
And what is the problem with that? Because if your plant doesn't look good and it looks sick, you know why it's not blooming.
Well, maybe. So at least it looks sickly, and you can be like, "Ooh, just something's wrong." But yeah, this is the confusing part. Is like the foliage is looking nice and green, and it looks healthy, and there's nothing just obvious, but it's not blooming. So we'll go into those 3 reasons. So the first reason that is a possibility is not enough sunlight. A lot of these flowers require 6+ hours of sunlight to get them to bloom. And if you have it in the wrong area,
it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Or the flip side, you have a shade plant and you have it in too much sun.
Yeah.
And it's going to just like either wither up,
Yeah.
or it's going to just stop blooming and be like freaking out.
Yeah, stress out.
The leaves might look fine,
Mm-hmm.
but the blooms will tell you the story.
Yeah, and sometimes they won't. Like fuchsias go in the shade, and that is one of the plants that you don't get to bend the rules on. You put that in, if it has even a little poke of sunlight on it, those leaves will wither up. They'll actually get sunburned. So yeah, that's maybe one of the things though, is that sunlight is for these sun-loving plants that need to have X amount of hours of sunlight, and they're not in the right area. You need to move them and see if that triggers that, if that helps.
Right.
All right.
So too much sun, not enough sun is
Yeah.
going to be one of those causes. But number 2 is lack of fertilizer. And I know we talk about Fertilizer Friday all the time. We talk about fertilizer.
Yeah, so the outside of the obvious, are you feeding at least once a week? Because that is kind of that baseline. And if you're not giving the plant nutrients, how's it going to flower? So it does need in a container. It has a set amount of soil, and we need to be watering correctly, but we also need to be feeding it nutrients so that it can flower and look beautiful in our yard. So if you're not doing that, get on a regular program. That's why we say Fertilizer Friday. At least that kind of reminds most people, hey, I need to fertilize at least once a week.
But what about
let's look
what
into
about the soils that have it in it?
Yes.
Or Osmocote, which is a good thing. Osmocote is not a bad thing.
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. So we're talking about
But what about
those slow release fertilizers, or the soils that have the fertilizer in it. So let's just clear that up. That is not enough. That is not a sustaining, that is a slow release, and it just gives a little bit of nutrients over time, and it'll say right on those bags, feeds up to 6 months. Well, think about it. How much is it actually giving? Because it's not enough to produce flowers. So don't get duped into thinking that, hey, I bought some soil that had the fertilizer right in it. That doesn't cut it. You still need to fertilize at least once a week. It's fine in addition to, but it's such a minuscule amount, it's not going to produce results. So you need to, fertilizer is meat and potatoes. That slow release is like a vitamin. Okay, so I liken it to, hey, I'm going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's meat and potatoes. That's what my body needs. I can't live off of a Flintstone vitamin, take a Flintstone vitamin in the morning and be like, I'm good. That's kind of the equivalent of those slow release fertilizers. It's not enough. So remember, if you have the fertilizer that's in the soil, that's not going to cut it. So
Number 3,
yes,
watering.
yeah, this is a big one.
These are all the hot topics.
Yeah,
Location, fertilizing, watering.
Correct watering.
Correct watering.
Yes. And here's where we say audit yourself, okay? Because nobody's doing anything wrong except their flowers don't look good.
Somebody has to be doing something wrong.
Yeah, like if you're watering correctly, if you're fertilizing correctly, if you're doing all of that, your flowers will be amazing. And if they don't, go back to step one. You're like, you know, who's it responsible? Why aren't they looking? Well, it's right here.
The man in the mirror.
Yeah. So watering correctly, and so overwatering, and a lot of people do this. Most people, we find, our base of customers, most people are going to overwater.
I call it overloving.
Yes. Yeah.
You overlove your plants. Like you're so wanting them to grow and be beautiful that you overlove it so much that you're actually on the detrimental side of it.
Yes. You do this probably with your pets too. Does anybody have like a 28-pound cat? That's overloving, okay? Okay? Or a dog that just waddles out and is just, oh my goodness, put Fluffy on a diet. We do this with our flowers too. Overloving. Don't overlove. It's not good for them. So overwatering is going to kill your plants. So that's going to do it. Yeah. And what's happening? We're rotting those roots. And once those roots shut down, it's very hard to get them back on track for the rest of the summer.
You can, but it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And what the first thing it's going to start doing is it's going to stop blooming because it's like not sure where to go. The roots are starting to rot because you've had it pouring out the bottom, which we've talked about is a big no-no. And those roots start getting funky down there. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, survival mode, stop blooming.
Yeah.
Try to repair.
Yeah, it's got to put energy into repairing what's wrong.
So you're not even going to see much growth even.
No, they're just going to be
You're going to
stunted.
see it's trying to repair the roots.
But people don't stop there. They just keep overwatering
it.
and yeah. And like, my flowers just don't even last into July. Okay, stop, time out, figure out why.
Yeah.
It's not that it got hot. They can handle hot. So it's because you were overloving them, probably. So let's take the flip side of that. Underwatering. Ooh,
Yes.
so
Those people know it. Like the people,
do they?
Yeah, they do. The people that underwater, they know they underwater.
Somewhere deep inside.
They're like, I haven't
had
touched it in a week.
I've had some people walk into my greenhouse with a hanging basket that the soil is just. I mean, I could fit my hand down the side of it. It is so dry, and they're like, "What's wrong with this hanging basket?" And I'm like, "Well, apparently I was the last person that watered that hanging basket 3 weeks ago when you bought it." So, oh, I gotta water it, huh? Yes.
The rain will not do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so the underwatering is a severe stress on the plant, or going from one to the other, from going Sahara desert to swamp water and doing that back and forth. Plants don't like to have that wild swing of the watering of dry, wet. We just want a nice, consistent.
And I think the big thing that you were talking about with the watering is stop stressing your plants out. Just give them what they need for the day. Let them have a drink. Let them dry down a little bit. Not dousing them. Not letting them go so dry that they're wimpy.
Yeah.
But if you stop stressing your plants out, they're going to grow.
It's magically going to look beautiful if we stop doing that. Your plant's like having a cigarette because it hasn't had water in a week. So yeah, don't let your plants stress. You know, we want to give a nice consistent of, I'm taking this plant and I'm giving it the care that it needs for 24 hours. I mean, I'm going to water this and give it what it needs for that 24 hours. And I'm not going to try to water it for the week. It doesn't work that way.
So a lot of you are going to say, I need help. Like, how do I water correctly? You know, how do I know how much water to give it? We have a ton of videos on our on the Sharkeys Greenhouse YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We have so many different ways for them to find this information.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
But if you go on there, he talks about a lot about the watering. He talks about the fertilizer. He talks about the sun, the shade, deadheading. All those topics are covered. So utilize that, it's Sharkeys Greenhouse on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
it's
that
a
you have
great
it all
resource.
set up in playlists, so it's easy to find.
Yeah, if you want fertilizing, there's a whole playlist on fertilizing, a whole playlist on watering. So there's a lot of information there. It's there. It's a free resource for you to use. And if you're on YouTube, you can always like, hey, I want to know how to deadhead geraniums. You can type in deadheading geraniums Sharkeys, and it'll pull up all our videos on that topic.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a great resource. Please utilize that.
On the beatyourneighbor.com, because everyone says, well, what fertilizer do I use?
Yeah.
The Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer is our own personal fertilizer that we now ship to 48 states, and we sell at retailers across the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, that's going to be the only fertilizer that we recommend because that's what we use.
Yeah, that's what we use, and 100% that's what we're using on our plants and flowers. That's why they look like they do. And that gives them that nice balanced nutrients, and they flower. And yeah, our people rubberneck our our flowers outside. The hanging baskets that are 5-6 feet in diameter, they look awesome, and that's because of our vegan
It's such a
fertilizer.
compliment when they drive through with their phones out and they're doing that slow video mode.
Or we're just watching, I'm outside watering or whatever, and I just see that as they're driving past. It's a lot of fun, and that's what we want for your yard.
And a lot of our customers will say they've had people knock on their doors because they're like, where
Yes.
did you get this from?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
a lot of them will share what they're using, but some are like, no, it's my little secret.
Yeah.
So, one of our retailers, because you can find retailers across the United States on the beatyourneighbor.com under the retailer locator button.
Yep.
But one of the retailers we're going to highlight today is
Deadheaders Greenhouse in Spiceland, Indiana. So Deadheaders Greenhouse, they are in the Indiana area, and so you can find them and other retailers across the country, like Amy said, at our beatyourneighbor.com website. So
Yep.
you can find someone local near you. All
with
right.
that, the baskets are growing in gorgeous.
Mhm.
And if you have not been out to the greenhouses, it's so much fun at this point because you start seeing everything like getting bigger and bigger, and now is the time to start like finding those extra planters, finding the planters that you like,
Yeah.
get them planted up so that you have all summer to enjoy them.
Yeah. You should. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.